Hi everyone, Tabitha here from Shredded Physiques. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about things to consider before competing. If you're someone that's currently thinking about going into a show yourself, these are some things that I really stress upon all my clients prior to going along with a contest prep. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is why. I've seen many competitors that have got too involved in social media. They get too caught up in the look, when it comes to abs being shredded and stuff like that. That has often wanted them to get a taste of competing, but that's like 5% of it. I don't really feel sometimes that people go into it with the right mindset, knowing what to expect. So before going into any type of show or even considering competing, you really need to ask yourself why. What is your short-term goal? What is your long-term goal? And with competing, what is it that you're looking to accomplish? Is it something that you've always wanted to do, you've been inspired to do, and now's your chance, to get on stage and shine? Is it something that you're doing because your friends are doing it or because your boyfriend competes? These are things that you really need to take into consideration prior to going into a show, because if your heart's not in it and it's not something that you're doing for yourself at the end of the day, it can make for a very shitty experience. I've seen a lot of competitors that go in 4 weeks in, 8 weeks out, whatever the case may be, and it's not what they expected and it's not for them. Some people don't diet well. The training that goes along with it, the dedication, these are all things that you need to take into consideration prior to making the commitment to go into a bodybuilding show. So before you even consider competing, you really need to ask yourself why. What is it that you are expecting to get out of it? And just really take into consideration the other factors that I'm going to talk about next that go along with it. And if you've never been to a show, the thing I always suggest to all my clients is go to a show yourself. Sit down, watch the format, watch the other competitors, watch the different types of posing, the different types of look. This can really give you firsthand what to expect prior to going into a show. So number one is why. So the second thing I want to talk to you guys about is picking a division. So how many types of different divisions are there? For girls, there's bikini, fitness, figure, physique, bodybuilding. Men's, you're getting into lightweight, you're getting into heavyweight, you're getting into super heavyweight. There's, bantamweight. There's so many different types of classes out there. And at the end of the day is research. Go to a show yourself. Look at the show format. Look at the competitors. See what look it is that you want to achieve. I've had many of my clients ask me, well, what do you think I should do? Which category do you think I should compete in? At the end of the day, that's not a decision for your coach to make. That's something for you to make. If you want to do a physique show, if you want to do a fitness show, if you have a gymnast background, or if you want to do a bikini show, each one brings their own uniqueness to the stage, and it's really for you to decide which category is going to best suit you and best suit your personality. For me, I come from a dance background growing up, so it was without question when I went into a figure show. Yes, I like the look of it, wearing heels, the different types of posing and stuff. It was really interesting, but for me, I got a little bit of a taste of it, and it was like, whoa, I like lifting heavy weights. I come from a dance background, so for me, it's fun to choreograph a routine and perform for people. It's very rewarding, and that's my personality. So for me to go into physique, it was without question that that's something that's going to work for me. Again, not being afraid to build bigger muscles and have that enhancement in my back and my shoulders and stuff. Some girls don't like that. So maybe bikini might be better for you. It's a little bit more of a softer look. You're more elegant. So it's really going to depend what works for you, what best suits your personality. And again, go to a show, see the different types of classes that there are and different types of poses that are expected and stuff, and it also gives you firsthand what to expect going into a show. So if you're fairly new to training and just kind of want to get your toes wet, a lot of girls usually do go into bikini just to get a feel for it. It's more or less like a beginner's class, if you will. But it depends how serious you want to get, and eventually if you want to work your way up and stuff, it's going to be the training, it's going to be the discipline, and it's going to be the dieting that goes with it. So there's going to be different expectations for each class, and the training is going to be slightly different as each class. You're going to want to emphasize different parts of your body a little bit more. Again, the poses are going to be night and day from class to class. So figure out what it is, what you want to do, which look you like, and how you want to mold your physique, and that's something that you work with your coach. So finding balance, finding what works for you, and again, going to a show and just seeing firsthand what it's all about. So number 2 is going to be pick your division. So the third thing I want to talk to you guys about is the finances that go along with competing. Now, it's going to be different for both men and women. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot more that women have to bring to the stage. So there's going to be a little bit more additional costs that go along with the women's division as opposed to the men. Food and supplements aren't going to change very much between the two. Probably going to be a little bit more in the men's division. Men, you're only really looking at those 2 things: your posing trunks and your registration fees and your tanning fees, and as well as your travel fees as well. So I wanted to spend a little bit more time talking about the women, as it does go a little bit more in depth as to what to expect for costs. So again, the food and supplements, those are going to be something that you're going to need to take into consideration. Groceries are very expensive, especially chicken and meat. So you're going to be buying groceries on a weekly basis, doing your meal prep and stuff, but your supplements as well: protein powder, different types of supplements that you use at the gym, creatine, pre-workout, your BCAAs, things like that. Those can add up and get very costly as well if you don't have the proper finances set aside for them. And if there's additional supplements that your coach is going to want to have you on a plan as well, just keep those in mind. So the first thing I want to talk about with the women's division is hair and makeup. This is crucial, especially on show day. You're up super early. The last thing you want to be worrying about at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning is perfect hair and perfect makeup. Your everyday wear makeup is not the same as competition makeup. And unless you're a makeup artist yourself and you can actually do your own makeup, not something that you want to be playing around with. Again, you have so many other things that you have to worry about on show day. Making sure that your suit's packed, your shoes, having all your times down, knowing what time you have to be at the venue, traveling to the venue, checking in with your coach, last minute details. These are things that you're going to want to have priority over stressing about not having perfect hair, not having perfect makeup, or your lipstick being the wrong color, whatever the case may be. Spend the extra $200. Get your hair professionally done and your makeup professionally done. Who doesn't like getting dolled up at the end of the day? So you're looking at roughly $200. Most companies will allow you to put a deposit in advance to hold your spot. So it's not saying you have to come up with the funds right away, but just be prepared for the remainder amount of money that you owe on show day to have those charges covered. So along with that is also your suit selection. Now, you can spend anywhere from, say, $200 all the way up to $1,500 on a suit. It's not saying more is always better. Sometimes people think more glam, more color, more just bling. More isn't necessarily always better, so don't get too caught up in the price tags online. You can buy some beautiful suits for anywhere between $200 to $250, again, depending on how much is in your budget that you're willing to spend. Different types of bling, different types of connectors that you can get. It can get very, very costly very, very quickly. I recommend to all my competitors, at least roughly between 10 and 8 weeks out, start looking at suits. Get a feel of what colors you want, different types of rhinestones that you want, the different types of designs on the front of the bikini, different types on the back of the bikini, if any. These are things that you are going to kind of want to start playing around with and looking online. I tell all my clients, at least between 8 weeks and 6 weeks out, do your measurements and actually send in to have your suit shipped to you. Reason for that is you want to allow extra time to have alterations if you need to send your suit back. You know it's going to be back on your doorstep prior to show day. I've always used Carrie's posing suits. I absolutely love all of her products. She has a wide range of suit selection, very, very beautiful, stunning suits, and for reasonable price. Again, there's finding that balance, finding what is in your budget and what what style of suit it is that you want. So I highly recommend using Carrie's posing suits. A lot of my girls have used Ravish Shan's as well. Again, she has a beautiful selection of suits to choose from. With the men's, Muscle Beach is a really good company to use, as well as Suit Lady. They both really have a wide selection of suits, again, reasonably priced for men. So the other thing I want to talk about is your spray tan. This again is something that's crucial. I've had clients that have sourced out outside vendors and gotten sprayed, and although I personally don't recommend doing that, reason for that is you don't get them to touch you up on show day. You know, if you're sleeping in the middle of the night and you rub some of your tan off, or you sweat. Girls often laugh at me when I tell them to bring a cup and pee in that the night before and the morning of show. There's a reason for that. If you drip on your leg, or you have, you know, an accident, or even just getting water spots on your body, it can happen so quickly without you even realizing it. And unless you actually are working with the vendor, you're not going to get touched up the day of show. So the other thing that you pose a risk of too is being undersprayed or oversprayed. I've seen it in many shows before. Some people are like a yellow golden color, and you will look really stupid on stage if your tan doesn't match the other competitors, or if you're too light and they're like 5 shades darker than you. You look really stupid, and you don't realize it until you look back on pictures or you see the video format, and you stand out like a sore thumb. And this will also take away from your physique. If you're not the proper color, you can look more flat, and it's just not a very suitable look, and who wants to be the one standing out from the crowd? So pay the extra money. Roughly looking at a spray tan, you're looking at maybe $100, maybe $150, depending on the event and who it is that's going to be offering the spray tans. But again, a lot of the companies they will ask for a deposit, and then you can pay the remaining fees show day. So it's not saying you have to come up with the money right away, but just be prepared for the extra expenses that are outstanding. And on show day, they will also cover your bikini bite and your sheen as well. So just 2 extra things that less stress on show day that you have to worry about. So let's talk about registration fees. You have a registration fee with your organization. That is usually a yearly membership fee. If you're only looking to compete once, that's going to be a one-time fee for you. Looking at maybe about $50 there. But then as you get into each class and each category that you want to compete into, there's going to be a registration fee along with that as well. So if you are considering doing multiple shows in that year, take those registration fees into consideration. Make sure that you're going on the website and you know what to expect that you're going to be paying out. So there's the registration fees. Along with that, there's also your travel fees as well. Are you traveling at a show outside of province? You're going to be looking at gas prices. You're going to be looking at hotel fees. Obviously, if you're booking out farther in advance, you're probably going to save yourself a little bit of money. Same with flights. Booking last minute, things get costly, things book up, especially if you're wanting to stay at the host hotel for the athletes meeting and stuff. Book in advance, because things do go very quickly and they do get very costly. So just keep the travel expenses in mind along with that. Shoes and jewelry, not something that's going to be super expensive. Shoes, I've always gone through sinful shoes myself. Over the last few years, the requirements for shoes have changed with the colors. They're a little bit more flexible. Before, it used to be just the clear stripper heel, if you will. Now they're allowing a lot more flexibility when it comes to colors. So again, just going on the website, knowing what it is that they have required for your show and for your class. WBFF, I don't actually think there is shoe requirements for them, as a lot of it is costume based. So that goes along with not only the color, but the style as well. But again, just making sure that you know in advance so your shoes will pass the test. You're maybe looking at $50-$60 for shoes, so not a lot of money spent there. You can use shoes. I've had the same shoes for a couple of years now, and it's like a one-time investment until you can literally wear them to the ground. So shoes is not something that's going to be a big expense, but it is something to put on your checklist. Jewelry, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars at a jewelry store unless, I don't know, there's something that strikes your eye and that you absolutely want to have for show day. That's going to be a personal preference. I've always used Claire's or Ardene's. You can get the cute little bracelet cuffs. You know, some dangly earrings, not paying a whole lot of money. You're maybe looking at $25, $30. And again, a lot of my jewelry I've used back-to-back shows without buying anything new. So you don't need to invest thousands of dollars with the jewelry portion of it. Nails, that's going to be something that's going to be a personal preference. Some girls like to get the mani-pedis the night before, or like a couple days out, prior to show. Again, you can go to Claire's, you can go to Walmart, wherever you want to go to. You can buy the fake glue on nails as well. Again, it's a personal preference. Not saying you do or don't have to, but sometimes those details do make a huge difference when the judges are looking at your overall physique. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is your coach fees. Now, when it comes to picking a coach, you're going to want to pick somebody that's fairly reasonably priced. You can spend anywhere from, say, $300 all the way up to $1,500 on a coach. So with that being said, make sure that you're researching that person. Talk to other competitors that have used them. Ask for before and afters. These are fine details that are going to go a long way during your contest prep. You're going to want to make sure that there's going to be somebody there that's in your corner, that you can rely on this person, that you can trust this person, that they know their shit, they know what they're talking about. It's not mandatory per se that every single coach is going to attend your show. It is nice knowing if you're on stage that you have your coach in the background watching you, but sometimes things come up and they're not going to necessarily be able to be there for you in presence, but you want to know that on show day, if you have to check in with them or the night before, that you're going to get a response back. There's nothing worse than having somebody bail on you last minute and having to stress about that. We've had a lot of our clients that have come to us halfway through a show, 6 weeks out, 8 weeks out, and it's very, very hard to pick up the pieces from somebody else if you don't know what's been going on, their diet portions, their training, if they're carb cycling, you know, and trying to change things up. It can be very, 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 very stressful, not only on the competitor but on a new coach as well. So just make sure that you're doing your research, and at the end of the day, it's somebody that's going to be a good fit for you. So number 3 is going to be the financial side of it. Just properly plan and budget accordingly for what it is that you want and for the division that you're working with. So just know what to expect prior to going into it, and making sure that you have all the nitty-gritty details figured out ahead of time. As I mentioned before, travel being probably the most crucial, is looking into flights, looking into details, and where the actual venue is prior to your contest prep, so you know what to expect. So the 4th thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is time. When I talk about time, I'm not just talking about the time that it takes to do a contest prep. I'm talking about the time and dedication for the gym, when it comes to training, when it comes to resting, when it comes to posing. These are things that you need to take into consideration, as well as outside of your contest prep. You still have a life at the end of the day. Your friends and your family, they're not always going to understand your lifestyle, and that's okay. It's not their journey to understand, it's yours. You know what it is that you're getting yourself into, but with the time frame, you need to be able to take a step back, in a sense, from your regular day-to-day routine, especially during summertime. It's barbecue season, beer drinking season, you know, camping season. These are things that you need to think about to prepare yourself for your contest prep. Know the time frame that you know you're working with, whether it's 12 weeks out, 14 weeks out, or 16 weeks out. Are you willing to make some sacrifices and take a step back? When it comes to going out to social events with your friends or your family, you know, there's going to be times where you're going to be the weirdo in the corner with your Tupperware eating your chicken and your rice, and people are going to be, you know, indulging in fruit trays and sandwiches and maybe pizza, ice cream, chips around you. These all things can lead to temptation. So when it comes to going to events and stuff like that, you need to be mentally prepared for that, and you need to be strong enough to stick to your goals and stick true to yourself, and know just in the back of your mind what it is that you're working towards. Being able to have a backbone and say no, especially if you're having a social outing, say at the bar at a friend's house, you know, everybody's sitting around a campfire having beer. How that's going to make you feel. Nobody wants to be the sober person amongst a bunch of drunk people, but at the end of the day, contest prep will show you a lot when it comes to your friends and your family who has your back, And if your friends really support you, at the end of the day, they'll be there no matter what. 16 weeks doesn't take very long to go through. It seems like a lifetime when you're starting contest prep and you're tired and you just can't wait to see the end result. But at the end of the day, when you look back, 16 weeks flies by without you even realizing it, especially when you're busy training and posing and stuff like that. With the gym part of it as well, especially cardio, you know, you're going to be up early in the morning sometimes doing fasted cardio, and then you're going to be doing cardio post-workout, having an hour for your workout, and then however long your coach has you on cardio and stuff, you might be doing, you know, split sessions in a day. And then on top of that, you also have to make room for posing. Posing is going to be crucial when it comes to the weight training and stuff. Yes, you want to kick ass, you want to get in the gym every single day and give it your all, but I stress to my clients, the biggest part of bringing your physique and really owning that stage is your posing. That's going to be a huge telltale, is really being able to get up there and feel confident and shine and show that hard work off is going to come through your posing. So taking the extra time, you know, 20 minutes a day, or getting out of the shower, making sure that you're hitting those poses. They should come natural for you, that you don't even have to think about them. It should come as second nature to you. It's very, very important. Posing is a big, big part of it. So this goes back to the time, you know, what your day looks like. We've had a lot of competitors that are moms. You know, if you're a mom yourself, you know what it's like. You're up with the kids, or putting the kids to bed, or making sure that they're off to school or dance or whatever it is that they're involved in outside activities, getting them ready for school, packing their lunches, packing your own lunches, making sure that you have a sitter if you need to go to the gym. Again, these are all things that you need to take into consideration when you are going through a contest prep or thinking about going into a show. But the social aspect, a lot of people can break down halfway into prep, or a few weeks in. You know, they're missing their friends, they're not able to go out, they realize different things that they're missing out on, or their friends are picking on them. You know, these are things that you need to be able to accept and just know that this is for you. It's not for anybody else. And if they don't understand it, again, that's going to be on them. And you really need to be able to ask yourself at the end of the day, is it worth it? Can I do this? So some people don't take that into consideration. We've had a lot of our clients go in, you know, 4 weeks into a show, and some people just don't diet really well. Some people get really moody. It can sometimes, I don't want to scare you guys in saying this, but sometimes it can ruin relationships. You know, you're cranky, you're tired, you need your space, and if you know your better half isn't going to support you through thick and thin, at the end of the day, competing might not be for you, or you might not be ready for it. So just mentally prepare yourself for those types of situations, and just really be in tune with yourself and know what it is that you are not only mentally capable of, but physically capable of as well. And if you've ever done a show, it will make you a stronger person, realizing what you are capable of. I always tell my clients, you're a lot stronger than you think, and it's true, especially when you go through a contest prep, you know, and fighting temptations and stuff like that. But you learn a lot, not only about your friends and your family and people that are there for you at the end of the day, you learn a lot about yourself. So it is a very rewarding sport, but with that being said, it can hurt a lot of people. It can hurt a lot of people emotionally. So just be prepared for that. It's not going to be like your everyday life, and there are a lot of things that you are going to have to sacrifice and give up during that time. So you need to ask yourself, is this something I'm willing to do? So number 4 is going to be time. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about that's going to wrap things up today is going to be the feedback and post-show part of it. Now, when I talk about post-show, I'm talking about reverse dieting. I feel that, especially for a lot of female competitors, it is so amazing when you look back on your results and see where you started and see where you finished. Being a lean being all year round is not real. I cannot stress this enough. Being 5% body fat, number 1, it's not healthy, and number 2, it's not good for your body to try and maintain that, to stay lean, have abs, be shredded. Yes, it's a good feeling when you have seen yourself at your worst per se, and also at your best, but being able to accept constructive criticism from the judges when it comes to judging your physique. It is a very, very competitive sport for a reason. You're being judged amongst other girls, other males. So I often encourage my clients, ask the judges for feedback, see what they have to say about you, know what you need to take home and what you need to work on. It's not meant to hurt your feelings. Use it for ammunition to better push yourself, better improve yourself, come back more tighter, more leaner, more bigger, whatever the case may be, whatever it is they're looking for. Use that to your advantage. It's not meant to hurt you in any way, and I feel that sometimes people cannot take constructive criticism very well. So be prepared for that. You're never going to know areas of weakness if you don't ask. So I always encourage my clients to reach out to the judges and make sure that you get your show feedback. How else are you going to get better? Reverse dieting as well ties into that. You have to be able to handle going into an off-season diet again, being able to accept the fact that you're not going to have abs, that you're always not going to look ripped and shredded, you know. Regardless, at the end of the day, you only have one body to live in, and you need to treat it right. And along with that is you need to be able to love yourself in all sorts of shapes and sizes. This can be very hard on the head, especially for females. I mean, it goes along with men too, but I think women are a lot harder on ourselves, just based on social media, you know, fitness models, things like this. A lot of women are a lot more self-conscious of their self, and especially when you see yourself at your best and then you kind of get away from that, especially after show day, you want to pig out, you're putting on a little bit more water weight, you're getting fluffy in areas that you weren't before. It can be very hard to deal with. So be prepared for the emotional reverse dieting part of it as well. It's not saying that you're not allowed to, you know, go back and have somewhat of a normal lifestyle or maintain a healthy lifestyle, but just be prepared to know where to draw the line, you know, especially going out after your shows and pigging out for days and days. It can often lead into binge eating. You've been depleted for so long, you know, your body's not used to having all those types of carbs and sugars and, you know, bad food go into your body. So just be very, very careful. You will be in a lot of pain. Your body will start storing water like crazy, and you will start to swell. So when it comes to the reverse dieting, work with your coach, have a plan ahead of time, and just be able to ease your way into it. And again, I cannot stress this enough, ladies, is love yourself no matter what. You've worked so hard to get as far as you have, and it's not real. Show day is an amazing feeling. You know, it's nice to be dolled up, be on stage, perform, have everybody in your corner cheer for you and stuff, but you need to be able to love yourself 365 days a year, whether you are competing or whether you're not competing. So this is the very, very most important part of it, is being able to accept yourself no matter what time of year it is. So just keep that in mind. And for those of you that do have additional questions when it comes to competing or anything that I've covered to you, please shoot me an email. I'd love to chat and connect with you guys. shreddedphysiquesteam@gmail.com. I hope that this was able to give you guys a little bit of insight as to what it is to expect going into a show if you are considering competing yourself, and that it's given you a little bit more to work with, so that you know what to expect. At the end of the day, not a lot of people know that, and not a lot of people take the things that I've mentioned into consideration. So being prepared is always number one, especially going into a show. You have hardcore diet brain at the end of your contest prep, and you don't always think about these things. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight firsthand, what to expect prior to competing. So I hope this video helped, and thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay happy and stay healthy.